Yeah, so let's take a look real quick. We'll speed through the Bitcoin prices. Bitcoin kind of charging up right now here over the last couple hours. We got it up over 104K. Dude, it's so funny how quick this stuff just goes in the rearview mirror. Like just the other day, literally Sunday into Monday was like, oh, this DeepSeek AI from China, and NVIDIA drops however much it dropped. And, there's just no point anymore. They figured out AI, forget it. Risk on assets are done, cancel the bull market. And Bitcoin already totally recovered that move, which is just, it was maybe the dumbest dip that I can remember in the history of all dips. And when we'll discuss that here with this conversation, Ethereum just over 3,100 right now. It's still ass against Bitcoin. I think the ratio is 0.003 or 0.03 or whatever. Still looking bad as far as ETH goes. But talking about like this action with Bitcoin recently, and I want to give you the opportunity, Ewok, as somebody who's been here like full length, like 3 cycles practically now. The tradition of some kind of China FUD being somewhere and everything. Obviously, the last time around, there was a certain virus you may or may not have heard of that obviously in 2020 created a lot of issues. But this DeepSeek thing, Deep State, whatever the hell it's called, being released and just creating this drama. I mean, I don't know if I blame China for this. I blame dumbass investors that react every piece of news that comes out. So I know we're talking super short-term time frame here, but what do you make of all that?
Yeah, again, we've seen it every cycle. I've seen it every cycle that there's FUD that comes out, whether it's them banning miners or making the Bitcoin unusable in their country, or it's always something. I think I mentioned it to you when we were talking the other day. I said, it's funny that China always has something to do with things right before the real bull run takes off. And I just find it very ironic that this time it was an AI something. Again, a lot of people are just irresponsibly trying to react and get an advantage, and that's really all it is. They think sell the news has to happen every time, but a lot of them end up hurting themselves because it does recover so quickly, and they don't really make a whole lot of profits on it at all. It's just they end up in the same spot and spend more fees. So yeah, I mean, it's a big nothing burger. We've been going sideways, and we've been really staying in this range. I mean, yeah, the range is about 11. I don't know. It's almost $20,000, but when you're at $100,000 price tag, that range really isn't that much when it's going back and forth, and that's been since essentially November, middle of November. We've been kind of just chopping in this range. It looks like pure accumulation to me. There's people getting in and out, people accumulating their positions, and that's all we're seeing. But there will be probably some sort of news that catapults it upwards. But again, I don't think the AI thing had really a whole lot to do with anything besides other people just losing position that they should have stayed in.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, very, very weird stuff. I mean, I saw it Monday morning. I'm like, what is this? Why are people even talking about this? But not to say that, innovation's innovation. I just don't understand the short-term ridiculous sell-off. Just makes no sense at all. But
it doesn't.
And then on a longer term, I mean, just for Bitcoin, and we'll kind of speed through this because we have so much to get to. But I mean, what do you think here over the next few months? I mean, we've seen Bitcoin, and more so, I want to talk about Ethereum because, like, I was looking actually at the 2021 cycle, and maybe I should stop doing that. Maybe we all should stop doing that as much, and maybe we should be looking at 2017 because that might be more the type environment we're in, kind of politically, obviously, in the United States now. But Ethereum had I think it was a big January, or like leading into January, there was a 2x in there somewhere very early in 2021 before it obviously went to its first top in May of like 4,800 or whatever. And we're just seeing Ethereum, continue to sit here doing nothing. I think we've got to be like sentiment, like pretty much at the bottom. I mean, the ETH BTC ratio still looks horrible on the chart. But as far as, the sentiment around Ethereum is just absolutely horrible right now. And not only that, we are starting to see a bit of a rotation. Like we're seeing Solana start to move down. We literally saw the president, 2 days before he was inaugurated, create a meme coin, or somebody within him creates a meme coin on Solana. It basically runs up, starts to tank. Then there's a Melania coin. It tanks, rugs pretty much, obviously. And then we see Trump sell off a lot of that and buy tons of Ethereum. He's been buying Ethereum every single day. So do you think this is the start of the ETH turnaround? Because, man, it feels like it, even though the ratio is still horrible.
Well, yeah, I do, only because there is still so much Bitcoin, Ethereum in the liquidity pools. There are so many markets that have that Bitcoin Ethereum pair. So I really think once Bitcoin decides to launch, which it will, we're going to see a 50 to 100,000 point gain here probably in the upcoming few months. So yeah, I mean, you're going to see that rising tide lifting all ships, and Ethereum will benefit from it as well. Back to what you were saying, though, this pattern here that we're in looks like the start of the same one that we were kind of in when it chopped around from 2019 to 2020 before it really took off in 21. So I mean, it just has a image of that little dip, the same dip that was here, and we could be in the very first part of that with what we're seeing right here as this first up leg. This is the monthly chart, so I mean, you have to zoom out to really see it. But yeah, you get your year-long dip. It chopped around. It did go up early, but a lot of that was because of the ETF news. Back in 2019, when it went up that first leg, it did take some time off and consolidated sideways for quite some time. So I think, this is our up leg. This is our consolidation. This honestly looks like the start of the run up. So I think this is where we're at back here.
Yeah,
where we're at here. So that's the correlation that I'm seeing with it anyway. But yeah, so you mentioned Ethereum, the ratio is still garbage, 0.030, just kind of a sideways down.
yeah,
Because
not looking great.
no, it's not looking bullish at all. However, like I said, once this does change and turn around, because of the pairing and the liquidity, it's going to come around. Now, will we see that 20,000? Does it have enough strength to do that? Well, I don't know, because you mentioned it a few minutes ago. Things have kind of, Solana has almost taken over that side role. I mean, I don't know, and I didn't look how much Bitcoin is paired with Solana as far as trading pairs. I would guess not near as much as it is with Ethereum, but I could be wrong. That would be something that I would probably need to look into as far as liquidity pairing goes between the two of those. Look, Solana's just been stronger with the meme coins, and we've made that. Well, we haven't made it known, but a lot of people have, and this has been a meme cycle. The early on, in the first part of the run, has been memes. So Solana is a lot cheaper to navigate. People kind of maybe got scared off from Ethereum last cycle too, with all the fees, the high fees, the times that it was just not feasible to even do a transaction because it costs so much. So I think that possibly hurt them, and there are people that are a little gun shy to get back into it. So
yeah, I think so too, about the fees for sure. When if you're somebody trying to just throw a lotto ticket in and get it and have a a meme coin, you don't want to do it on Ethereum. Like, I mean, yeah, you might, to swap it might be like 10 to 15 bucks right now, or like on the weekend at night or something like that.
yeah.
But try that in later on in the bull market, you're gonna have a bad time, to quote South Park. Yeah, I mean, if that ETH ratio stays so porous, I mean, who knows? We may be looking at a cycle where we want Bitcoin well over 200K to see ETH get to 20K. Not that we need Ethereum to get to 20K. I mean, I know people have called about that number. I don't think that that's necessary. Depends on, I mean, what are your goals? You know what I mean? I mean, I think
Right.
Ethereum, even at 10K, while that would be horrible, like way underachieving, not what anybody expected, and not great, people would still benefit from it,
Yeah.
even if that bad of a, target.
Well, the big part of that too is the wallet watchers who want a certain wallet to get sizable increase so that it can then rotate into Pulse Chain.
Right.
Unfortunately, whether it does or not, we have no say in how that happens. Unfortunately, so it doesn't really matter if it does or not. I agree with you, though. I mean, I think somewhere between 15 to 20 is probably feasible, even with where we're at now. Just because we haven't had a major run up, it doesn't mean that it can't take off. We've seen these type of moves when you look at the Ethereum chart back in 2017, how from January, January to January, basically 1 year, it just shot up.
Yeah.
The next run, April to basically November.
Yep.
So April of 20, so there is time. There's just a little bit more sideways going on. I think the markets are changing a little bit, but they still have a lot in common. I think once this is over, we'll see another pattern play out. Be like, oh yeah, that was this. This move here was this move here, or something along those lines.
I hear you.
So
yeah, so we'll continue to watch out for ETH. Hopefully, it does recover here soon. But I mean, it can't get much worse. I mean, people that are like fading it hardcore right now. I mean, it's usually going to be the mid curve people that are just like big Twitter accounts that are just looking for engagement. So